this, let's see how we can balance the redox reactions in acidic medium. Now, considering the steps, the first step is to write down the half equations. So how can we write the half equations? We've done this before. So here, there is a removal of oxygen. So this was oxidized, and why there is an increase in the oxidation number, which is from -1 to 0 here. So remember, because there's a removal of oxygen, the removal of oxygen is what? Reduction. Why here we have oxidation? Because there's increment in the oxidation number from -1 to 0. So now the half equation for oxidation first. We have then the second step is to balance atoms other than oxygen and what? And hydrogen. So let's check. Here we have 1 atom of chlorine and 2 atoms of chlorine here. So we have to balance the atoms of chlorine by just adding 2 here. Now, for the oxidation, let me put it down. Oxidation. Now, this is reduction. Now, the atoms of chlorine is actually balanced now. So let's see how we can balance this. The chromium here is 2, where here is just 1. So we just have to add 2 here. Now, the second step is done. We've actually balanced atoms other than oxygen. Atoms of chlorine balanced, atoms of the chromium balanced. So let's now balance oxygen by adding what? Water molecules. So here we have 7 atoms of what? Of oxygen. We have no oxygen here. So that means we're going to add 7 molecules of water. So here we have plus, let me clean this up, plus 7H2O. Now we've added water to this side. So the atoms of oxygen now is 7 in number, while the atoms of oxygen here is as well 7 in number. We'll go to the next step that says we should now balance hydrogen by adding what? The hydrogen ions. So how do we do that? Adding water here introduced 14 atoms of hydrogen. So we have to as well balance the hydrogen ions by adding what? 14 hydrogen ions here. So hence we have 14 atoms of hydrogen and that of 14 here also. So the atoms of hydrogen and water at this point in time is balanced. Sorry, hydrogen and what? Oxygen. So what's the next step? The next step is to balance the charges. So how do we balance the charge now? On the oxidation reaction, that's the half reaction, we have total charge here is -2. So what do we do? Remember what I said in the last class? You can visit the video where I said the side with the highest charge will add electron to that place. So we have -2 here, and the entire charge here is 0. So we have to add 2 electrons here so as to balance the charges. Here, under this place, we have 14 minus 2. So the entire charge we have here is 12. That's plus 12. Why the entire charge here is just plus 6. Reason 2 times 3 here is 6. So the entire charge we have here is plus 6. So how do we balance this? We add more electron to the side with the highest charge. So we have to add how many electrons here? 6 electrons. So let's just clean this a bit and then add 6 electrons. So that means the two of them now is now plus 6 and plus 6. So we can actually calculate that. That means 14 here minus 2 give us plus 12. And then plus 12, you add 6 to it, which is equal to what? 12. And which is equal to 6. And then the entire charge here is as well 6. The next step said we should now make the electrons equal. Make the electrons equal. How do we make the electrons here equal? On the oxidation reaction, or the half equation for oxidation, we have total electron here is 2, while that here is 6. So how do we make the electrons equal? Is by multiplying this very equation by 3. When we multiply the first equation by 3, we'll see that we now have 6 electrons. 3 times 2 is 6 electrons. So the electrons now are equal. But remember that this 3 will affect the whole equation. That is the oxidation reaction. It will affect it. So let's multiply through and then see what we're going to get. So let's check whether the charges are balanced. Here we have -6 on the left hand side, and then we have a -6 again, because electrons are what? Negatively charged. Over to this equation, we have a hydrogen here, 14, that's total charge here. This is an ion, 14 minus 6. Let's check it. 14 minus 6 minus 2, which is equal to what? +6. So on the right hand side, we have only just this, which is 2 times 3, which is as well what? +6. So the charges are what? Are balanced. So the next step is to combine the half equations. That means the half equation for oxidation and the half equation for reduction. We just combine them. So let's combine these half equations and see. Combine them now. Let's combine them. So we have on the reactant side, remember, this is the reactant side, the product side, and the product side. So while combining them, we still consider that. So here on the reactant side of the, remember, this is the oxidation half reaction. So on this reactant side, we have this. Then we can write this as well. We can continue from here. But before then, you can see that we can cancel out this and cancel out this because they are opposite side. But as we are writing, well, you're gonna see. So we have this, then plus 14 plus, considering the reactant part. We can add this electron so that you see the reason why I cancelled it out. Plus 6e, then plus so we are done with the reactant part. So over to the product. Let's continue from here. Plus 6 then plus 2. Alright, so this is what we have on the reactant side and on the product side. So remember, when you have something like 2x is equal to 2, we can cancel both sides so that x is equal to 1. In that same way, you have 6 electrons on the left hand side and 6 electrons on the right hand side. Hence, we can cancel the 6 electrons and the 6 electrons. To make this clear, let's see how we can manage our board. So this is our balanced equation. So we've balanced the redox reaction in the acidic medium. So let's go through the steps again. The first step is to what? Write down the half what? Equations. Once you are done writing the half equations of oxidation and reduction, you balance atoms other than what? Oxygen and what? Hydrogen. The step 3, once you are done balancing that, you now balance your oxygen by adding what? Your water molecules. And after you have added water molecules, you are introducing hydrogen ions. Hence, you have to what? Add another hydrogen ion so as to balance your what? Hydrogen. Once you are done, you balance your charges by adding electrons. And how do you do that? The side with much electron, you add electron to that place. The side with much charge, with the higher charge, supply electron to that place. And electrons are negatively charged. Then the next step is to make the electrons equal, because oxidation and reduction does with what? The gain and loss of electron. So what I gain should be what I lose. So that's why we have to make the electrons equal so they can cancel out. So once that is done, you now add your half equations together, and that you balance your what? Your equations. That's the redox reaction in the acidic medium. So that is just the process. Thank you so much.